Hello and welcome to the Manufacturing Connector, your gateway to the future of manufacturing. Our mission is to empower manufacturers with insights into the latest innovations transforming the industry. We bring you cutting edge case studies, expert interviews, and in depth demos of the tools, technologies, and techniques driving manufacturing forward every week. I'm your host, Jim Mayer, and today we're joined by Kris Harrington, the CEO of GenAlpha Technologies. Kris is a recognized thought leader in the B2B manufacturing digital transformation space, with a career spanning leadership roles in sales and aftermarket at industry giants like Interpack, Caterpillar, and Bucyrus International. Now, as the CEO of GenAlpha, Kris is focused on helping manufacturers and distributors sell their equipment and parts online with the powerful Equip360 platform. In today's episode, we'll explore how GenAlpha is addressing the challenge of digitalizing the customer experience in the manufacturing industry. Kris will share insights into how Equip360 provides manufacturers and distributors with real-time insights into inventory, pricing, order tracking, and so much more, streamlining operations and improving their efficiency. We'll also dive into real-world case studies that demonstrate how Equip360 is helping companies enhance their online presence and achieve digital success. For those interested in learning a little bit more about Kris's journey, check out episode 28 of the Manufacturing Culture podcast titled The Alchemist of the Aftermarket, where Kris shares her story. Let's discover how digital tools like Equip360 are revolutionizing equipment support and sales on the Manufacturing Connector. Hello, Kris. Welcome to this show, but good to see you again on either one of my shows. How are you doing today?
Oh, I am awesome. Jim, there is no better person than you to introduce me or GenAlpha. Really, you're the best. Thank you for all of that. I really appreciate the kind words and always appreciate the invitation to be here with your audience.
Well, I love having you on, Kris. Really excited to dive into GenAlpha and Equip360 today. Hear a little bit more about both the company and the platform itself. So briefly, let's hear about your background that got you to this point, because again, people can go listen to the full story, but tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so, I'd say something that makes me a little unique in the digital transformation space is that I come from manufacturing. So I really spent many years selling equipment and aftermarket parts and setting strategy for a global organization. And today I get to help organizations like that, both large and small, convert their customer service area into digital service area. And it's been really, really exciting for me. I've had a chance to work both on the aftermarket side, selling components and parts, and then on the equipment sales side, selling equipment, specifically meeting the needs of customers in various different industries. And today, our Equip360 solution is really helping people with that too. So I'm excited to talk to you about what we're doing at GenAlpha and how traditional sales are changing and what the expectations are from customers today.
Awesome. So I know you have a slide deck. I don't know if this is covered in the slide deck. And if it is, then we'll just move to that portion. Tell us how GenAlpha came about. How did this company become what is today GenAlpha?
Yeah, so we as practitioners in a manufacturing company. So when we founded GenAlpha, it was founded by a group of individuals who, like me, worked to sell equipment and service equipment over its lifetime. And we were starting to see this transition to digital and the opportunity that existed within it. And a group of us really broke off to form GenAlpha. That was the real start of it. We saw an opportunity in customer service. Many large manufacturers, and we will jump into this a little bit in the presentation, have been small, and over time, purchasing and acquiring other organizations to expand either to multiple verticals or, what happens in an industry over time so that they have revenue coming from multiple areas to lower their risk. But what happens when you acquire lots of different companies is that you have multiple ERP systems, multiple CRM systems, and you don't always have a seamless way to go to market, something that's very clear for your customers. We found, again, as people who were living that life and trying to increase our profitability and get the synergies out of these acquisitions that we were making, that digital could help. And then also on the, as we think about the digital first kind of generation that's coming into work today. I think I heard on a podcast this morning that millennials are more than 50% of the B2B purchasers that are out there today, right? And as we know, and I'm a Gen Xer, so this is true for me as well. We have different preferences, and our preferences have changed over time, which means that industries have to change over time to meet these expectations. It doesn't mean that some of the ways that we used to do business, like phone calls, emails, in-person visits, those are still relevant. But what's also growing in relevance is the ability to meet the need online. So we formed GenAlpha to meet this need and make it easy for manufacturers to convert their bills of materials, help customers really identify what they need quickly, easily, make their purchases, and then be on their way. And then when they need assistance or support, or they want to track an order over from the time that they ordered it to the time it arrives in the warehouse, they can go back to that website and get access to that information. So we'll explore a lot of those different pieces today, but that's how we started. We started as a company that knew that this was important for us in our previous roles. Today we're owned by a private equity firm. I answer to a board of directors as the CEO, and we're doing business with, small manufacturing organizations to $1 billion plus organizations, and meeting the needs of all of those. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like a blast. And so how many of you broke away from that corporate world, I guess, for lack of a better term, to start GenAlpha?
There were 4 of us.
Okay.
4 of us. Yeah, in the early days.
Fun. Wow. And how big are you now?
Well, we are 50 plus as an organization. Wow. And, and growing. Yeah, we look forward to continuing to just grow as the demand for these products grow and the maturity of digital solutions continue to grow in our market space.
I love it. And just you talking popped up so many questions in my mind, but I'm going to hold those for either during the presentation if it comes up or afterwards, because I want to see this presentation.
Let's do it. So we've got a presentation, and then we're going to take some time to do a product demo. So hopefully for those people that are watching, we'll just spark a little conversation here, but then visually you'll get to see it in our solution. So, the first slide here is really, Gartner is saying that 80% of B2B sales interactions between suppliers and buyers will occur in digital channels by 2025. 80% is a big number, right?
That's massive, Kris.
It's a big number. Obviously, different industries are doing things at different levels, but let's say they're wrong, and this is 65% by 2025. That's still a high number. Right? And it definitely means it's time to move online if you're not online already, which is really what we're talking about here. Now, if you look at this B2B buyer journey on the right, this journey itself has been the same journey over time. So your customers go through an awareness phase, they go through a consideration phase, the decision-making phase, the purchase, and then the post-purchase. In the past, if we think about traditional ways of selling to organizations, a lot of this was done by salespeople over time who made in-person visits, and it was very challenging. You had to have a lot of salespeople with a lot of territories. They covered a lot of customers, and they would have to get to these customers at the right time to make sure they were, essentially touching them at these different touch points in the buying journey.
Yeah.
And if you look on the left here, according to this McKinsey study, 70 to 80% of B2B decision makers prefer remote human interactions or digital self-service. So the way people are going through awareness, consideration, decision making, and purchase has changed to more and more people not wanting that human visit from your sales team, but actually they want to search for products, often from their mobile devices, and have these conversations remotely, which that's the change that we're going through. And we just talked about when we talked about millennials doing the buying. When we talk about the benefits of selling online, efficiency is one of tops to the top of the list, right? And when a purchase can be fully happen online, it becomes incredibly efficient. And, this efficiency happens not just for the customer, but it happens for the manufacturer. It happens for the manufacturer's distribution channel. So everybody is benefiting from more efficient way of doing business, especially at that transaction level. If you think about identifying the right product, getting price and availability, creating a quote or creating an order. If you can do all of that, your customer can do that themselves for that more transactional stuff. It just saves everybody time in the process. And then flexibility. Certainly we all become more flexible when our customers can do business with us 24/7 on the weekend, after hours, right? Essentially they're taking orders, and it frees up our customer service team and our sales team to be working on more strategic value added activities.
Yeah.
And then, over time, the benefit of online selling is really increased profitability. Not only are you taking out that more again, transactional, the more tactical aspects of a customer service role, you're freeing those people up, which often can take some costs out of your business. If you're a manufacturer, maybe you sell equipment, maybe you sell machinery, maybe you sell aftermarket components. What are they looking for from you? And really what they're looking for is the fastest way to identify the right parts for their specific unit. This is so true in our world because our customers in this world are not browsing. They're not browsing for a new pair of shoes. They don't want to spend a lot of time on your website. They're not looking for a pink shirt, right, to go to the next barbecue. They are typically they have a problem, or they have a shutdown coming up and they need to do a specific change out or, a planned maintenance. So either the machine is down for some reason that they don't want it to be down, or they're preparing to take the machine down for maintenance and they need the right components. So when they come, they need specifically exactly what they're looking for and they want to be on their way. So finding information fast is really critical for them. They want instructional documents and videos. If you don't provide it, they're going to often go to YouTube and search for information on maybe how to assemble or disassemble something that they purchased from you. It's a great opportunity for you in a digital commerce environment as a manufacturer to provide that detail right there. So any type of instructional documentation, step 1, step 2, operators manuals or parts manuals can be great for this. They want to see price and availability of your products and services. So they don't want to have to call you or call the salesman or send an email. If they can quickly look it up and see that it's available or get the price, often if it is available and you're their preferred supplier, they're buying it from you. They want the ability to create a quote or an order. They want to track the status of the order until received in the warehouse. They want easy reorder. So it's not uncommon in our world of equipment purchases that, you're going to do a regular oil change or you're going to do a regular Maybe you have some consumables that they wear over a period of time and need to be replaced. Those things, they want to easily reorder. That alone is a huge efficiency gain for customers. They want fewer returns, right? They want the right part the first time. They want to know this part fits their machine and they're not going to have to return it later. As we talked about already, they want to research before they buy. They want to pay their invoices online. And ultimately, what they want in this world is machine uptime. We talk about this all the time. They've bought your products so that they're producing. They're in the B2B world. They want to be producing. So let's talk a little bit about what manufacturers are looking for. So on the manufacturing side, of course, they want fewer phone calls, emails, text messages on the routine items. We've talked a lot about these. They want increased share of wallet from existing customers. So those of you that are listening, you're always trying to figure out how you can get more market share. So usually the first step is targeting your existing customers because they're already doing business with you. They want new customers and new revenue streams. This is a great way by having a digital commerce presence to attract new customers. Or if you're a manufacturer who sells a product that often goes into the secondhand market, right? I just bought a used John Deere tractor, right? And often John Deere and the dealer might know who they sold the first unit to, but then that person who bought it the second time or the third time, that transition, you lose who those customers are, but you still want the aftermarket business. So attracting those new customers is really important. Improved margins, reduction in order errors. So just like the customers don't want to return products and you don't want to take returns as a manufacturer. So the easier you can make it to make sure they get the right product is important. You want to increase your AOV, right? Your average order value. You want to scale quickly. So if you are a manufacturer who's thinking about making acquisitions or you're acquiring lots of companies, when you buy that next company, you've bought them because you believe there's a return that's out there. And a big portion of getting your return is bringing them into the way in which you're doing business quickly so that you can start to get that return. And e-commerce can help you scale very quickly. You're looking for market share and actionable insights from data that we just talked about. So if we go into what are some of the challenges that companies are faced with when they're trying to grow equipment and parts sales today? We talked a little bit about this in the beginning, that many of these organizations have these back-end systems. Again, they have an ERP, they have a CRM, they have a PIM system, but they don't have an intuitive front end for customers and dealers. There's no cohesive market strategy where these customers can come in and do business across all of these and have a consistent experience. So what we're talking about is improving that customer or dealer system so that they confidently get in and out with what they need. And we kind of combine all these systems for that one cohesive experience. Another challenge that many organizations are faced with is the high volume of phone calls, emails, text messages, which just bogs down their customer service teams. It's very difficult for our customer service or sales team to be proactive because they're consistently being reactive. We often talk about it as they're order takers. There's just no time to do product recommendations or talk about some of the different things that you're doing that you think could help grow the business. There's no time to talk about that. And this creates slow response times back and forth. Is this the right product that I need? Yes, it is. Or you have to gather more information. Okay, can I get price and availability on that product? And then, somebody has to take it to somebody else in the organization to get approval. And then they say, yes, I want it. And, you get a PO number. So all of that kind of goes away when you move online. Many organizations, and I think we might have talked about this in episode 28, but there's so much tribal knowledge exiting manufacturing companies today. And, even our manufacturers and their customers are experiencing the same, right? So in dealer organizations. So when a manufacturer is working with dealers, their dealers are losing that tribal knowledge. Their customers are losing tribal knowledge. So you have all of baby boomers are retiring. There are new people coming in. They expect things and information to be available differently. Definitely what you want to capture before people retire is all that knowledge that they have up in their head. And, everybody's struggling with that. And then inventory being managed by historical sales and losing market share to online channels. These are all some of the things we see as organizations think about why they might need to move online and move online quickly.
Kris, real quick on that slide, and if you answer this question further on, just say, Jim, we'll get there. Those back-end systems, the ERP systems, the CRM systems, et cetera, does GenAlpha Equip360 connect with those existing systems to be able to read that data, or does Equip360 replace those back-end systems?
We integrate to them. So
Okay.
what we're doing is your ERP is still the safe source for all of the customer master, the item master, and we're taking it and putting it into a user interface that is beneficial to your customers. So, and what we're really doing is connecting all of those systems. And so we're either pulling information in or pushing information to, depending on the strategy with each of these systems. Yeah, and I like to think of ERP, CRM, PIM systems as more back-end solutions. And often different parts of the business are using these different systems. But again, back-end, those systems have importance. They're meaningful, but they don't help the business, your customers necessarily do business with you easier. So the digital interface is meant to do that.
Yeah, I love it. And you're exactly right. I mean, it's back of the house versus front of the house, customer facing or not, right? And those back end systems are not built for customer facing data or interactions. It's to help keep manufacturing processes moving and scheduled and all of those things. So I love that. Great answer.
Yeah. So, our answer to all of those challenges is really our Equip360 solution. On the right here, you'll see that we call this our Equip360 wheel. So it represents all of the different modules that we have available in Equip360. And any of these can be turned on at different points in time. They don't all have to work together, but they can work together for those companies that want the complete Equip360 solution. As an example, if somebody just wants to sell parts online, they may only need our e-commerce, which comes standard with an analytics package, right? Some organizations need the interactive parts manuals and the e-commerce with analytics. Others are, they're having challenges in warranty claim management, getting products registered timely, filing and giving visibility to warranty claims, and crediting your dealer or distribution network properly and quickly as claims are coming in. So we address maybe a warranty, RMA, and product registration challenges. And some people are looking to create a space online. So, many people have heard of CPQ or configure price quote solutions. That's our product configurator. So we can help build quotations or orders for complex units. So typically we like to say, when you have a great digital commerce environment where people are buying their aftermarket parts from you, they're going to want to purchase that next piece of equipment from you because you've been supporting them so well with the e-commerce and interactive parts manuals. Why not give them the ability to configure and quote their next purchase. So
Yeah.
this supports the entire sales process. So again, we can stand up a product configurator without e-commerce, or we can work on all of these things, again, depending on the needs of a customer. Most customers work in phases where they will start with the most challenging area of their business and then phase in over time the other aspects of our module. Yeah, so it's a digital self-service tool. We are the proprietary owners of Equip360, so it is our solution. It's not run on any other platform. We do 12 production releases annually, so we continue to hear from our customers. So all of our equipment, parts, and machinery organizations that we work with, they give us great suggestions for new enhancements to our solution that go into our backlog. And each of these releases that are happening throughout the year, just like your mobile device where it's going through production releases, we continually to enhance our solution on a monthly basis. And we do not have any agency partners between us. We're a full service deployment model. So when you're onboarding your digital solution, you're working directly with GenAlpha and our employees to make that happen.
Wow. This is mind-blowingly simple and intricate all at the same time, Kris.
So, who is Equip360 for? It's really designed for specialty vehicle manufacturers, agriculture, mining, construction, heavy-duty trucking, industrial products, and then component and aftermarket manufacturers. So a lot of smaller component and aftermarket manufacturers who feed into the equipment industry here, that whole mix of organizations are who we're targeting with our solution. And today it's used by, dealers, owners, operators, maintenance technicians, sales teams, customer service teams, technical support, and engineers. So often when customers roll out our solution, it's not just, used by their partners and their customers. It's also used internally by many members of the organization. So it becomes this complete solution, getting the answers that customers would typically have from you.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you for clarifying. Because again, I'm not savvy in this space, so that helps a lot.
No, and I think the demo, I know we kind of wanted to go into the demo next.
Absolutely.
I think that'll make it a little bit more clear when it's visual like that.
I want to see this puppy in action. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I've logged in. This is Equip360. We're in what we call our Vehicle Corp demo, and I like to use vehicles because most of us understand them. But for those of you listening, you have to imagine that this would be your logo. All of the labels would be labels that pertain to your business. These banners would be your banners. So this would be for the products that you sell, and your customers would log in. We would be fully integrated to your ERP system. And through that integration, we'd have access to your customer master, your item master. We would get price and availability, and we would be able to get all of the shipping information. And while your customers are here, they would search for the products that they need. Now, in our world, we typically have two types of buyers. And they are buyers who know exactly what they're looking for. So they might know the exact SKU. So typically those are purchasers who have been given the information from somebody else, maybe somebody in technical service or somebody in maintenance, and the machine is down. I need these components, get them on order as fast as possible. And they've been given a list. For people who don't know exactly what they need. So I'm going to start with the people who don't know exactly what they need first, show you some of the unique things. So again, in our world, people sell machinery or equipment, and that equipment either has a serial number or a VIN number. So what they do is they search by a serial number, something unique to the machine that they're operating, and they would get, as a result, an exact match for that piece of equipment. So I've searched by a serial number, and what I can do is the bills of materials for the exact piece of equipment that I'm looking for parts for. So in this case, this is a garbage truck. What you'll see here is on the left, this is the as-built bill of materials for this unit. So when it left the factory, these were the different assemblies that make up this unit. We like to call this the safest place to find information for the equipment that you're operating or that you have to maintain. So first thing I'll show you here is just that we have the ability to store any documents. So if there is an operator's manual, wiring schematics, any warranty documentation associated with this unit, or if there's any reference information that's really critical after you've purchased this unit, we can store all of that. And again, this becomes available to download. So these are all just PDFs that a customer could access from their phone anywhere they are standing next to the machine to get access to information. Going right back into this bill of material, you'll notice if I have needed repair and I'm going into this debris pickup area of the truck here, and we'll go to the hand hose extension rack. So let's imagine something's broke here and I need to identify the right products. What you'll see here is the different callouts. So we repurpose technical publications documentation and we create these hotspots so that customers can quickly identify the exact part that they need for the piece of equipment that they're operating. And as I click on the different components, you're seeing an image pop up. You're seeing a description. You can zoom in, you can navigate around so customers could look at this in detail. But from here, they can click on the shopping cart and get their price and availability, and they can add it to the cart. And from right here, they can continue shopping. So it makes it very easy and safe for customers to find the exact thing that they need.
And if there's a discount that's associated, that's automatically populated and all those kinds of fun things.
You got it. So again, because I'm logged in, I'm safely integrated to the ERP system, I would know my price and availability is specific to maybe an area that I'm purchasing from, but my price is exactly the discount that we've got on file together through our contract pricing. So Great. You'll see we also repurpose 3D. So if a manufacturer has 3D information, we can allow the customer to fully interact in 3D as well and zoom in and find the exact things that they're looking for. So this really differentiates a manufacturer as they are trying to help customers. If you think about global operations, right, Jim? So many US manufacturers sell or want to sell to internationally and globally. And, many of them struggle with translations and making sure that translations are right and correct for the region that they're selling into. Picture speaks 1,000 words. If that customer who might be in Mexico is accessing this bills of materials and they can very quickly find the exact part through this image, they don't necessarily need to see an exact description in Spanish because this image is helping them identify and they search by that serial number. So it can really help with a lot of different things.
Now, Kris, and again, you may get to this, so I apologize if I'm jumping ahead. Can the manufacturer put instructions in here to how to replace these component parts if they want to? I mean, so say this is accessible at company XYZ by not only the procurement department, but also their maintenance department. Is there the ability for that maintenance department to see best practices in replacing that component part?
Yes. So in a minute, I'm going to get to the item detail page and I'll show one where you can store video and you can have instructional documentation. So certainly at the highest level, at the machine level, you have this documentation where these can be videos, they can be Excel documents, they can be PDF, but also at the individual item level, you can store information as well. But I want to show a really good product that has all of that type of information listed. Cool. So I will certainly do that. But yeah, so this is, something that we call our interactive parts manuals. and we repurpose this information and we digitize it. Some of our customers, Jim, this is just where they want to start. They want to allow customers to search by a serial number, a model, a VIN, and get to the right information, and they don't even turn on the e-commerce. So this is a first entry in to make it easy for customers to find what they're looking for and make it available, 24/7. This is certainly a step that we can take, and e-commerce can be turned on later. So just wanted to make sure I mentioned that while we were here.
Yeah, that's great.
So let's go back. One thing I do want to show you when it comes to the interactive parts manuals, this might be important for the manufacturers that are out there. When you sell specific equipment or machinery to your customers, a very nice feature of Equip360 is that we can map the login, so the user who's logged in, to the specific equipment that they own. So you may have an installed base of, let's say, 500,000 units out there that are running, but this particular customer only owns 5 with you. We can map that to them so that it's a very personalized experience. When this customer logs in, they see the 5 units that they own. They can quickly get into the bills of materials. They can create their own name. Guido is a reference here. So there's lots of different ways to make this really approachable for the customers that you work with and truly make it easy for them to buy from you. That's really the whole goal here. So think about that mapping as pretty critical too.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just love how easy you're making it for people to buy. I mean, this is taking somewhat painful process and making it stupid simple, to use a term that I don't know how much I like, but I love this platform so far. This is great.
Thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. So let's talk about customers who may have, maybe they're not going to search by serial number or VIN. They're just going to use the search by a part number or a description. So starting with a description, let's say somebody's looking for a spark plug. You'll notice as I type in spark here, it's going to start to suggest different categories where that comes up. You'll see that right here. It'll start suggesting different parts. And then on the right here, it's actually suggesting parts. So this is just showing you the look and feel of GenAlpha's solution. If I were to choose caliper, and as it searches across different calipers, it's going to bring up different information. Now, if I know the exact part for what I'm looking for, I'm going to type that in, and through an exact match, that part's going to come up. And this is where I'm going to take you to that item detail view that I was referencing. So at any point when you're inside that interactive parts manual, you could go into the item detail, but I wanted to show one that had lots of information to kind of give manufacturers an idea of all the different type of information that can be shown here. So you'll see that what's nice is it's telling me the last time I've purchased this, and I could actually click on this link and go to the order that was purchased. So this is kind of just a confidence boost. Like, I've purchased this before. Maybe if I thought, you can see that I purchased this one today. Maybe do I need to purchase this again? Right. So it's just a secondary reference. You'll see the parts description, the part number. You'll see different views. So we can handle multiple views, but we can also handle video. So you could have that disassembly or reassemble instructions. Of course, you go into full screen mode. We talked a little bit about list price versus the discounted price. I just wanted to show a view here where you could show the customer what list price is, but what the price is that they're paying or whatever is under that contract value. These are all options. Our product is highly configurable based on the needs of the manufacturer that we're working with. Here's that real-time availability that we're getting from the ERP system. And if it was in multiple warehouses, we could actually list all of the different locations of where that inventory is. From here, they can add it to their cart. They can add it to a shopping list. So if they're collecting different items to check price and availability, but they're not ready to check out, they they could start a wish list. Many of us know what that is from our own B2C experience that's carried over into the B2B world. Any specifications for the product, any attributes. And something, nice about the GenAlpha solution here is that if, let's say, this part wasn't in stock, if it wasn't, we do have the ability for them to be notified when it is back in stock. So that's not coming up right now because there is stock, but that notification is there. But they could check for alternative products. So if they were looking for this alternator that fits a Ford, we could view similar. So that's something that they could actually do, which is a really nice feature. Also, we have the ability to store alternate products for a specific product. So if instead of buying this particular alternator, you wanted to look at what other products are there, you could offer suggestions like that. Of course, any features and benefits. But here too, Jim, this is where you can have any literature. So if you had, maybe you didn't have a disassembly or reassembly video, but you did have an instructional document for
Sure.
this specific, that could be stored here as well. And then, of course, upsell and cross sell. So, I will confess many manufacturers today, I don't want them to be overwhelmed because a lot of them don't have all this information. They may have one image. Many of them don't have any images, right? They don't have a lot of their specifications and attributes built out. They don't have alternatives mapped and upsell, cross sell. But this is what we help them do as they move online. And over time, iteratively, they start to use these features. So it's not uncommon for a manufacturer in the beginning not to have an item detail page that looks this thorough, right? But this is kind of showing what you could do for, if you use the 80-20 rule, the 20% of your products that make up 80% of your revenue, maybe you spend a little bit more time making sure this information is really complete. And then you use analytics to start inching in and focusing you on the products that you should be next focused on.
Sure. That makes total sense. So you help create that process on the manufacturer's side. So if I've got, a team of 40 employees and I don't have somebody who has taken photos before or has created documents, you can help me prioritize to take the right photos. All right, maybe from this angle, here's the documents that I would create in that kind of situation. Is that a service that Equip and GenAlpha provides?
Yeah, and I'm so glad you said that because, we really take a consultancy type of approach, even though we're not selling consultative services.
Yeah.
As part of working with us, because we are a full service group, and many of us in the customer support area all come from a manufacturing background, we become advisors and we do exactly what you just said. So as ask questions related to how you're doing business today, where you store information, we will make suggestions. Oftentimes, we will look at your data with you and say, I would do these things first. Let's prioritize this, and we'll later come to this area. And then also, as we work with customers over time, we look at their analytics and we meet with our customers on an annual basis to show them opportunities that they could be working on that we think might increase their conversions online. So we really are
Awesome.
advisors at the same time.
I love that.
Yeah. Let me just jump into our shopping area. We call this the Shop for Parts tab. I should mention that this isn't just for parts sales. Standard equipment, parts, components, all of those could be sold here if you have something that regularly sells. So you could have a first page here that says new equipment, used equipment, parts, and service. and then land on this page. So there's so many opportunities depending on where you are in your online selling strategy and the type of machinery and parts that you're selling. But in this particular demo environment, we're focused on selling parts for vehicles here. And you can see we've broken it up by different categories. So braking system, suspension. And this is very similar to the types of experiences we're all having in our B2C world. If any of us use McMaster-Carr, Grainger, or other Fastenal for purchasing products, it's a very consistent look and feel. As you drill into, we'll go into these shocks and struts and components. You'll see now it's breaking it down to even, other categories. And from here, you get a results page for all shocks and struts, and you can narrow your results by selecting the various filters. So lots of things that we've all seen before. I will mention for those that are listening that we do handle obsolescence and supersession. So as your products, change over time, if a part is no longer available, we still give customers the option to search for that part, but we might have messaging that says, this part is no longer available. Please contact customer service. Yeah. Or if there is a replacement part, we'll let them search for the old part number, and you'll see that we kind of have this grayed out the image, and we're telling people that this part has been replaced with this particular. So we guide them to the correct part, but it makes the site available to search for any type of information that they might have in a paper catalog or something that they can reference from the past, which is great.
I love it. What is that build and buy button up there? Is that like building kits? Tell us more about that.
So build and buy is our product configurator. Okay. I'll show you that. So I mentioned the ability to configure, price, quote, complex pieces of equipment. We'll just take this truck as an example. So for anybody selling new equipment or upfit equipment or anything even in the aftermarket that has different options that can be selected to configure to order, we have the ability to turn that online as well. So you'll see here, just starting with the cab, your customer would select the sleeper with the mid-roof, choose a color, we'll choose black here. The bumper finish chrome plated, you'll see that the image changes. Here are some non-required fields because there's no asterisk, but we'll go ahead and choose a few things. But what you'll notice here is that as I build my vehicle, it's changing the price and it's giving me information. And if there is a visual to show me, it will show me on the right, or we can even have visual right within the options. So at the end, I've essentially configured my next piece of equipment. I've got my price. I can go to the summary, and from here, I can save this. So maybe I'm not ready to buy this right now, but maybe I want to save it. And then I want to configure another one and see what the price is with some variation. So I can save this to my lists. I can go in and change. So if I change, it's keeping all of the selections that I made, and I can go in and make some other changes, and I could save again. I can start over. That's going to wipe everything out, or I can export this to a PDF, export it to Excel. So think if you're a salesperson showing up at a dealership, trying to help the dealer with their next stock level purchase, or you're going direct to a customer and you're helping them configure, you can simply pull out a tablet and walk them through the different options here. And by the time you leave, they could have, if I add this to my cart, I could quote this and they would have a quote in their inbox when I leave. So right there, we've stepped through multiple steps. We've made it visual. We've made it very easy for them. So this really gets into that new equipment sales for that complex, non-standard, make-to-order type of machinery.
So let me ask you a question, Kris, because this is astronomical. I mean, it's like, when you go on Nike and you create your own sneakers, or you go into Lamborghini. Not that I've ever shopped on the Lamborghini, but I've gone onto the site and like played around. What would it look like in purple? So you've done this amazing thing where you're creating this build to order type of scenario. Do you see this from like CNC machine manufacturers as well? I mean, are there use cases where a company building CNC machines can say, all right, Kris and GenAlpha, Equip360, my customer base, the ability to build their own CNC machine right on your site. Is that possible?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, any type
Wow.
of machinery can be used here. We've got several different just examples, lawnmowers, RVs, plows, right? So you might have,
Wow.
let's look at plows, right? So, and again, we don't have a CNC piece of machinery on here, but this could definitely apply to any type of packaging machinery, anything that is being built to the customer's needs could be here. Often, many times, people are configuring to order based on a spreadsheet that they built up with all the different options over time. We're essentially taking all those options over time and we're putting that into something digital, right? So, look at plows, right? So in a plow, you might have a V blade plow, a box plow, a straight blade plow. So they start making some visual decisions and then they go in and they configure the product. So yeah, I mean, there's so many types of industries that could use a solution like this. And
Absolutely.
You don't have to have any of the e-commerce or the interactive parts manuals. None of that needs to be stood up. If you wanted to start your CNC machinery project at the build and buy only because you have a problem to solve there, that's what we could start with first.
Wow.
And then over time, now they bought that CNC piece of machinery and they're going to need service for it over time. So give them the ability to search by that serial number and bring up their very specific CNC machine. Like we talked about, go into the bill of material and now buy the parts for that CNC machine, right? And that's how we become this complete solution for manufacturers, is we just give them the ability to keep adding on. We talked about, I'm not going to go through creating an order because most people know how to create an order from their own experience. But when we integrate fully to an ERP system, when a customer logs in here, they get access to all their quotes, orders, and invoices. So what this means is that, let's say they placed 5 orders online with you in a month and 2 orders through their customer sales rep. When they come here, they see all the orders that they've placed and they can track those orders. They can pay the invoice online. If I go into, let's look at this completed order here. So this order was placed. If we look at the order details, you can see that it was recently placed on order. It shipped on 8/31. It looks like everything shipped, so all the line items on that order. So there's one invoice. If there were multiple shipments and multiple invoices, they would all be here. But customers can come in here, access their invoice. They can download the invoice. So again, no more phone calls, emails, requests for this type of information. They just log in. They see their shipment, they see their tracking. If this were not a demo environment, but a live environment, this would be a tracking link that would either open UPS or FedEx or whatever the freight carrier is, and they could get the status of their order. And this is where they can reorder, they can download the order, they can share it with others. Jim, if you and I are on the same team, so we both work for Vehicle Corp and we log in, you could see my orders, I can see your orders. Let's say you're the purchaser and I'm in technical service, so I don't have the ability to place orders, but I'm the person who's doing the maintenance. And I've just identified that I need 3 parts and I asked you to buy them. What I could do is I could log in and I could create a quote. And when you come in here, you could see my quote and you could convert it into an order. So maybe I don't have the authority to purchase, but I do have the authority to create the quote. So these all become very powerful tools in what is a B2B world that's very complex. I'll just mention briefly, because we went into build and buy, so we saw the product configurator, but this is our warranty area. Warranty claim management is an area that, again, we meet many organizations who just don't have a robust system or process in place. Many are still managing on spreadsheets, so they just don't have good information over time. And what happens is that fulfilling the claims from either their dealers or their customers take time. This gives visibility to the process. It speeds everything up. It gives unit history. Customers can easily file their claims. Administrators can come in here, approve those claims, or go back to the customer or dealer asking for additional information. But what happens here is that information, again, is more visible, and customers are credited the information quickly as they go through this process versus the timely waiting period that often just happens within that warranty process. So we've built out all of the complex workflows associated with everything related to warranty. So if that's a problem area for a manufacturer, we encourage you guys to contact us.
I love that. Again, so sometimes those manufacturers, whether it's a vehicle or a CNC or other piece of machinery, they have service technicians, right, that
Right.
go out into the field. Is there a way for this to help schedule or at least reach out to that manufacturer? If I'm the customer, I go in here and I say, hey, this broke, I need you to come take a look at this plow blade or this spindle or this bearing.
Yeah.
Is this an area that they could do that in?
So we don't have a scheduling service platform necessarily.
Okay.
Many of the manufacturers we work with do. So what we often suggest, there's a chat tool hooked up here. Chat is a perfect way to turn on where a customer can request service. And through a number of selections within chat, you can get them to the right place to get that service scheduled.
Love
Now,
it.
all of the service documentation can be stored safely, again, at that equipment. So, how I showed you the documents associated with equipment. Let's say
Yep.
you have an inspector or somebody on the technical service side who's going out and they're going to, do an inspection and give an inspection report and what needs to be done to this particular unit. All of those service documents could be stored in this document section. So it could be easily referenceable for the customer at a later date. The other thing I want to point out, and I'll go back into the equipment. Let's go back to this garbage truck since it's already referenced for everybody. But when your technical service person is out in the field and let's say they're doing a walk around, they're inspecting the unit and they're helping the customer identify what's needed. They can be doing all of this again on their tablet out in the field. As long as they are in a Wi-Fi area, they can reference any documents. They can go into, let's go to this area. They can go into the specific bills of materials. And as they're identifying what the customer needs here, they can be adding everything to the cart. And that inspector can create a quote on behalf of the customer while they're standing there. And by the time that technician leaves, the customer has a quote in their inbox that they can log in online and convert to an order. So your technical service team has access to all of this information too. Rather, along with their inspection report, they can actually be creating a quote that's ready for that customer to create an order for the same day before they leave that job site, rather than submitting paper back to the customer service team so that the customer service team creates the quote and then gives the quote to the customer. Your tech can be doing all of that from their handheld device, their mobile phone, right there.
That to me, Kris, this doesn't even those equipment manufacturers, the garbage trucks or CNC manufacturers. If you're a manufacturer of cutting tools or
Yes.
tool holders or any of that kind of supply, you could very easily set up your e-commerce solution right here on Equip.
Yes. Yeah. And again, only used vehicles because it's what we know. It's easy for people to start imagining how could I
Yeah.
use this for my products? But you're absolutely right. If you sell just tools, right? You could just turn on the e-commerce platform and you could use the e-commerce to sell your tools. You could set up the attributes, product categories. Your customers
Wow.
could come in, see their pricing, place their orders, check their invoices, all of that. I was showing the depth of the product, but obviously not required by everybody to use everything.
I absolutely love it. I'm floored. I knew it was cool, Kris. I didn't know it was this cool.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to show people. It's always interesting how you can say a lot of things in words, but when you show somebody, they're like, "Oh, yeah," and then your mind starts thinking about all the different use cases, right? Which why I always encourage organizations, just let's do a product demonstration and get you thinking about the different ways this could be used in your business. We become a resource for you just to ask questions, talk
Yeah.
about what you think your challenges are to moving online. Use us to share our experiences of what we're doing with other customers because it is possible. Manufacturers have a lot more data than they think they do. And it's converting the data that you do have into something that can assist your customers in having a better experience and then improving that over time. So
Yeah.
start where you are and build on it from there.
I love it. Kris, how can people find you?
Yes. So GenAlpha.com is our website. You can find us there. We've got a lot of great resources for everybody. Just click on a request a demo if you'd like to have a conversation with us. We would love to have a conversation with you. Personally, I'm on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, we have a GenAlpha page, and I'm very engaged with LinkedIn and have a lot of great content out there as well.
That's how you and I originally met, was LinkedIn. I mean, I love LinkedIn. It's
Me
my
too.
favorite social platform out of all the social platforms and the one I use the most. But that's how Kris and I met. And here we are a year plus later, and we're still friends. So that's a great thing. Connect with Kris on LinkedIn. Check out Gen Alpha on their website. Reach out to them for your own like personalized tour and demo, because what you saw today is high level, and Kris and their team can definitely dive into your specific needs. So thank you, Kris. Really, really appreciate you being on another show of mine. Sharing this side of you was so cool. Sorry if I didn't ask enough questions. I was just over here. I know you can't see me while you were in screen share mode, but my jaw dropped like 6 or 7 times with just how cool I thought this was. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Jim. Always a pleasure to speak with you. I'll come on your show anytime, any one of the shows.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to hold you to that
You
because
got
I have
it.
like 4 new concepts percolating and I want to bring you on every single one of them. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the manufacturing world, thanks again for joining us on the Manufacturing Connector. I hope that you found today's episode insightful, practical, informational, and just compelling, I guess is the best word. Again, a special thanks to Kris Harrington from GenAlpha Technologies for sharing how Equip360 is helping manufacturers, distributors, OEMs, customers, end users, everybody transform digital presence and streamline operations. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update. Hit that bell icon, whatever. I don't know enough about YouTube, but hit the bell icon to get notified every time we release a new video. I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions in the comments below. What challenges are you facing in your journey? And what topics would you like us to cover in future episodes? Stay connected with us on social media for more exclusive content and updates, and follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Remember, at the Manufacturing Connector, We're here to empower you with the latest innovations and insights in the manufacturing world. Join us next time as we continue to explore the future of manufacturing one solution at a time. Until then, keep innovating, keep connecting, and see the future of manufacturing today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.